fishing in March. All right, catching biggins in March is my favorite baits to fish, to catch biggins and just to catch fish. So probably my number one, I'm just going I think I'm gonna do these in order of the ones that I like the most. For fishing in March, all right? Catching biggins in March. Crankbaits, dude. It's really kind of crankbaits for probably, if there's 4 seasons, there is 4 seasons. Out of the 4 seasons, crankbaits are probably gonna be in 3 of those seasons for me as my favorite baits to fish, to catch biggins and just to catch fish. Look at my boxes, and this is like a cool way. Believe it or not, this is a Plano Edge jig box. To me, it just holds crankbaits really well. You just kind of stick them, and you can move these. They're adjustable, right? You can move the little dividers, and so I put my crankbaits in the slots, right? Just like you see here, right? It just works really good. I put them in the slots, and I keep all those crankbaits in there. It's just a different way. We got a different, another way too. This is some handmade crankbaits. Like handmade crankbaits to me are like jewelry. I take extreme care of my handmade crankbaits. Nobody gets to touch them. I don't like people looking at them, touching them, talking about it. And you're definitely not ever throwing my handmade crankbaits. Like, nobody gets to touch these baits right here. But they get their own little box. And this is the Plano Edge crankbait organizer. And what I do is, for each crankbait, you can see where I cut out a row. See how I cut that row out of the little splines? And I set my bait down in them. And you can see, look at there. You see how I'll cut one row out? Like that. And then I'll just put the crankbait down in it. I won't even put hooks on them because I don't want them rusting out. You see there's no hooks on my handmade crankbaits. I don't want those guys rusting out. So, when it comes to crankbait colors, I've got really there's 3 colors that I like to use. There's always going to be some type of chartreuse like this one. There's always going to be a shad pattern, just a straight up white with a dark back like that. And then there's always going to be, there's another chartreuse pattern here. This is my signature color right here. You probably want to closer look at this. This color is called Take My Money. And I've got 3 signature colors actually. There's 2 shad patterns. Actually it's not shad. There's a shad pattern, a crawfish color, or a loud orange color. And then there's this chartreuse color. But these colors right here, I almost always start, because I'm in stained water, I almost always end up with something in these chartreuses like that. This is called Take My Money. And custom color that I designed with Bill Lewis that just has all the right, it's got all the right energies going on. It's got all the right vibes, So this is a color that works, it works in lightly stained water. And it also works in just straight up dark doo-doo water. Probably shouldn't have said doo-doo water. Here's another one that I like to use called a Shiver Crank by Ketchco. It's like a 6, 7, 8 foot diver. It's in a white color, like a lavender shad looking color too. Sexy shad looking deal, beautiful color. But it gets a little bit deeper than the MR6, which is probably a 4, 5, 6 foot diving crankbait, which is this time of year, a lot of fish just live in that 4, 5, 6 foot range. For sure, if I could have one bait, the water's in the 50s like it is right now. If I was in a lock, just one bait, you tell me Brian, you got one bait to lock in for the next 6 weeks. I guess this is 2 baits. Sorry. Probably need to throw that away. So crankbaits are my favorite for this time of the year because, especially if you're fishing for largemouth. Let me clarify. So I know most of you guys have either a spotted bass lakes, largemouth lakes, or smallmouth lakes, or some conglomeration or collaborate, or all of them. So especially if you have largemouth lake, and the water temperature's in the 50s, them fish are in 4 to 5, 6 foot of water somewhere on that lake. So when they're in that 4, 5, 6 foot zone, you can catch them on a crankbait. You will catch them on a crankbait when the water's in the 50s, no matter where you live. You know what I'm about to find now. You already know. All right, without looking, look, don't look. What do you think this is? Just listen by the sound of it. What is it? Type in the comment section. What is this? What does it sound like I'm grabbing now? Hey, so look at how I'm keeping my spinnerbaits. It's not a traditional spinnerbait box, right? Organizing spinnerbaits has always been challenging for me because spinnerbait is kind of big. It's got a lot of components on it. I never really like the big boxes because they're big and they're bulky and they take up a lot of space in your boat. Well, this is actually what's called a Plano Edge Flex. It's waterproof, but you can divide these. You can divide this however you want. You can see I got it in, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 6 dividers. But it could be as many as 20 dividers. It comes with like an enormous amount of I guess you just call them dividers. When this water temperature's in the 40s, 50s, when it gets to 60s, it gets a little iffy, but iffy. I didn't mean to say iffy. I can't talk tonight, y'all. The spinnerbait catches them. This one right here, you see I got a little orange or red, whatever you see. I see orange. I hear people say that the spinnerbait with the red kicker blade. To me, dude, that's orange. Like that's an orange blade right there. This really doesn't. Anyway, you catch them big ones, a lot of them. The spinnerbait is old school and it still works. And it's still like my favorite. This is my confidence. When I lock this bad boy in my hands, one of the first two that I mentioned, if you lock those two things in your hand and man, it's going to be a good week. Spinnerbait, for the same reason. The thing I like about a spinnerbait over the crankbait is you can put it in a little bit more awkward places. You can put it in laydowns. You can put it around rocks. You can kind of control and manipulate what the bait does a lot better than you can with a crankbait, so it doesn't hang as much. I feel like it's got a little bit more drawing power. You can keep it in the strike zone a lot longer. So spinnerbaits are great, like the best bait to keep in your hand, even in clear water. You know, I'm talking about probably throwing in stained water, like visibility a foot or less this time of the year, but it'll work in like clear water where it's 10-foot visibility. Speed it up, change your blade combination. Spinnerbait is probably one of the most versatile baits you can throw because you can see like I got a tandem willow here, great clear water. I can change the skirt. I can make it go fast. I can make it go slow. I can make it go down. I can make it stay up. All depending on what I do with the blades, the skirt and or trailer, or the size of the hook. There's a lot of components on here that makes this thing talk a lot of different ways. So I said, did I give y'all a number of how many I was going to give y'all today? I don't think I put a number on how many baits. But these are just the stuff that I'm talking about is like legit. Like when we're fishing for money, this is the term. These are baits that I fish. If you're looking to get your hands on them right now, shopblat.com. One more that you can catch fish with in March or when the water's in the 50s, early spring, like right now. Like when you're going to fishing this weekend, when you're off, or when you take a day off day off of work and you say, I'm sick, and you're really not sick, but you want to go fishing, something you can lock in your hands and make it worth your trouble. The crankbait, the spinnerbait. I'll throw one in there for the clear water guys. I know everybody doesn't have that option of fishing water like what I fish, where it's, you know, I can fish anything except for grass. Stained, shallow, deep, clear, dirty, muddy, current, river, lake, reservoir, mountain lake, lowland lake, lily pads. I can fish just about anything within 3 hours of here. I'm gonna give y'all something for the clear water guys if you want to catch a big one. Yeah, this is the one. A Dropshot Worm. I know some little sucker in the comment section is like, the Dropshot, I catch small ones on the Dropshot. Well, buddy, that's you in your experience. I catch big ones on the Dropshot, especially if you got spotted bass fishery. Look at this one. This is a new worm from Z-Man. It's called the long shots, right? Perfect Dropshot worm. And it's like, you see how it's just dancing in my hand? All I'm doing is I'm just holding it. You see how the tail dances? So you can imagine when you put it in the water, how tantalizing that bait can be. This color right here is called mootering. If you have a clear water fishery, if you guys live on like a spotted bass lake, like a Lanier, or if you live you know, up north on smallmouth places, I know the smallmouth usually shallow when they first breaks. If you live on a clear body of water, throw a drop shot or drop down a drop shot. You can fish it vertical, you can cast it, you can fish it for spawners. Fish that you see on bed. This little dude right here on a drop shot, this is a 6-inch drop shot worm. I almost always like to throw a 6-inch. I feel like the 6-inch has a little bit more action than a 4-inch most of the time, but sometimes a 4-inch is better. But a drop shot like this, you can, I typically like to rig it Texas rig drop shot. I'm not going to make this a rigging video. I guess I could, but I'm not going to. I'll leave a link in the description box where you guys can go to other videos where you can see me fish these baits actually on the water, and how to rig it, what rods to use, what line to use, what hooks to use. So this is kind of like a gateway video to other videos, not to just get you to watch, but I know your attention span is probably short, so we're gonna make this a shorter video. Drop shot. Of course, your weight is going to depend on how deep you're fishing and how far you're casting and how fast you want to get to the bottom. 3/16 or a quarter is really about all I have. Fish that everywhere from 50 foot to 2 foot. So just a heads up, all these baits that I'm going to talk about, if you're looking to get your hands on them right now, shopblat.com. I put these baits in specific kits of my favorite colors and stuff that you actually found in the compartments of my boat. These are not just random things that I'm trying to sell you. It's for the guys that DM me all the time and asking me what I like to fish and what colors and what pound tests and what lines and what hooks and so forth. Shopblat.com. I just put my tackle box online for you to get it. So the crankbaits in the custom colors, shopblat.com. The spinnerbaits that I just showed you, shopblat.com. And the Dropshot worm that I just showed you, shopblat.com. So just check out the description box, click on it, and it'll take you straight to the website. Don't even have to type it in Google. You don't even have to type it in.